Boom. Good morning, Insurance Syndicate members. Hope everybody is having a great week. Hey, it's winning on Wednesday time, baby. So I hope everybody's having a great start to the week. Hopefully you guys got some wins since our last weekly call. And so appreciate y'all taking the time to hop on this morning. So my fearless co-host, Mr. Merwin, is traveling, so was not able to make the call today, but we called an audible, baby. And it's going to be one for the books, right? So just so you guys know, before I bring on our special guest, Mr. John Wetmore, who is just, if you guys don't know, I'm going to let him talk about himself, but who is just destroying the life insurance game. This is going to be full-blown like Q&A. So whether it's PNC, whether it's life, whatever it is, social media, how to build a team, you name it, whatever questions you have, we're going to kind of kick off. But then I want you guys, and I'll be tracking the comments here as we're going live. We'll put that up on the screen. But we want this pretty much 30 to 40 minutes. We're just going to keep it live, and you guys can pop on. Literally whatever questions, feel free to ask those in there, and then we will definitely circle back around and get to that, right? So part of, I think, winning, right, is sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, right? And sometimes asking those questions and having a certain person answer those can actually really change your agency, can help you level up, and obviously can help you find some wins, right? So if you can, before I bring John on, let StreamYard view your comments. It's the first comment I put in there. It's also in the very bottom of the description of the actual Facebook Live, okay? So let us see your comments so that then when we are answering your questions, we know who we're actually talking to, right? And then we can connect with you after the fact if we need to, whatever that is, right? So again, weekly winning on Wednesday call, but this is a little bit different. We're doing Q&A, baby. All right, so I'm going to bring John on. Everybody give a warm welcome down below in the comments, and we're gonna kick this thing off. Mr. Wetmore.
What up, dude?
What's going on, man? How are you this morning?
All is amazing, bro. I am out in rainy, I say Portland, but it's like Vancouver, Washington right now. Sitting in the hotel room, getting ready for a meeting.
There you go. Come on now. And it's bright and early for you guys. Hey, I said it last night and you're like, what? That dude, 7? That's perfect, man. Like, I love being up. And I'm like, oh.
7:04.
I love it, man.
Like I was up. Yeah, if you saw my Facebook thing, I was like, I posted at like 3:40 in the morning. I was like, but I had to come to the West Coast to be at 3:30 club guy. It was 6:30 at home. Right. I was wide awake.
That's funny. That's funny, right? Yeah, just shift up your time zones, man. That's how you do it. Take a couple pictures, repurpose the pics. That's funny, man. Well, thank you for taking the time to hop on this morning, man. I know you are, dude, you're always on the road. You're always going to speak. You're going to train agents freaking all over the country, man, which is obviously one of the things I freaking love about what you're doing. So for those that maybe don't know you or haven't had the chance to meet you or even just see any of your content, kind of just give them your background. 30,000, who is John Wetmore? Kind of your story, right? That time frame, and then we'll get into that Q&A. So guys, again, as he's going through this, feel free to post those in the comments and we will circle back around to answer those for you.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Appreciate it. And I do enjoy doing this piece, man. It's a lot of fun. I get to hang out with dope people, and I get way more credit than I probably deserve. But, I've worked hard, dude, over the last 10 years in this industry. I'm 45 now. I got into the industry when I was 35 at the time and still had 5 kids. Maddox at the time, who's now 10, was 9 months old when I got in business. My background prior to that, I was an accountant, like corporate staff type accountant. Did that for like, 8 years or something. Before that, I worked in a warehouse, literally loading boxes into trucks. And then prior to that, my early 20s, I was in the restaurant world, a little pizza joint that I did for like 4 years. So blue collar guy, never in sales, never did anything like that. Barely passed high school. I was a little punk growing up in the hood, and but I always wanted more out of life, dude. I always wanted more. I just didn't have direction. I didn't have a mouse trap to do it with, if you will. And but always striving to kind of figure it out, and got introduced to the business in the short version is started in 2012. I actually got introduced in 2008, dude. Applied, didn't do anything with it. 2 years later, got introduced to it again through a coworker. Got my license, dialed one day for like, I swear, 30 minutes is probably like exaggerating how long I dialed, and I quit. Because I was like, the phones ain't leads, that ain't for me. And I quit. And then
The leads suck.
yeah, dude, I was that guy. Honestly, I don't know the product. I need someone to teach me that. Like I was that. Dude, I go back and I look at some of the messages I was sending to the random dude I applied with, and I was that guy.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, dude, 2012, actually a buddy I know, Warm Market, reached out on Facebook Messenger, hit me up, was like, hey, dude, what are you into? I know this guy that you remind me of, killing it in life insurance. And it seems like something, or he didn't say life insurance, killing it. Seems like something you'd be good at. Are you interested in having a conversation? So I called him. I'm like, what is it? He goes, life insurance. I'm like, nah, dude, I tried that. And he's like, I'm telling you, dude, this is you. Let me just explain to you how the whole thing works. And I knew him. Yeah. So he wasn't the kind of guy that was going to but he wasn't that guy. Super good dude. And I'm like, all right, I'll listen. And he explained like the business, not like go sell, make this. He was like, here's how you bill. Here's how you do this. Here, he knows I'm an opportunity, a dreamer guy. So he showed it to me like the dream.
Yeah.
And he referenced other people that were doing really well, introduced me to some people. And I was like, dude, no one explained this before. I'm definitely
right
now.
Right.
And that was 2012, man. And I did it for a year part-time to just figure it out. Again, I had 5 kids. I was broke as a joke. Steph was making the money at the time. And, I needed to kind of figure this thing out. And I did not start out good. I was not the guy that started killing it and selling I wasn't on leaderboard. That wasn't me at the beginning, man.
Yeah.
But I worked hard and I was consistent and I was trying to get better. And, here we are 10 years later with, bro, we're doing okay today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're doing okay. And I loved what you said there, and I don't have any questions in there yet, so we're just dude, we could probably just keep going, man. Which I'm totally okay with that. But again, guys, if you do have any questions, literally we'll stop talking and answer your questions. But one thing and this is kind of something more that I'm getting into now. Not really necessarily when I was in that producer role, but obviously Redwood is more than that to me, right? And what it's going to be and how we're trying to create this, legacy and all of that, which I'm talking about at SWAT. If you guys aren't going to SWAT, you need to be. But it's having the knowledge of really just the foundation of the business is like, and I always say this, anybody can sell a policy, right? But even now, like when you're starting to talk about valuations and like, hey, if Joe's gone, like if I leave, right, does the office still run itself, right? And having the infrastructure and the processes and really, the information. I don't think a lot of people, have been given the same opportunity maybe as us to be able to surround ourselves with people who have built a very large, successful business, right? Not just selling the product here, like this, which is obviously part of it. But I think there is some oversight or maybe there's just the lack of Q&A, right? Of, hey, how should I really even be setting up my business? This is why I love Emily Trevino, like talking about how to actually set up your business. Right? Like whether you should be setting it at what entity types and all those types of things that are so important, that really sometimes it just takes somebody freaking telling us, right? And it's like, dang, I'd never heard that before. So I love that you said that because I think they go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I've been, for me, the reality is, bro, there are a lot of companies out there in our space that don't want to teach people how to run a business because they'll realize, oh, dang, this isn't that hard. There's some pieces that do it are a lot of work. And I'm glad being an IMO model, I don't have to do those pieces. I am 100% okay that there's some things I don't have to worry about. So I think I'm a really good player inside a system. That's my comfort zone. I enjoy that. I don't want to create something from the ground up. Now, certainly my agency, you could go, yeah, you started it from scratch. Yeah, dude, but I had all this in place. I just ran the plays. But how to build an agency and how to build an agency within a structure. I had to be taught that, dude. I was not that business guy at all. I mean, I was an accountant, but I wasn't even a CPA.
Right.
I was just like an accountant. So I was never taught business stuff at all.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I was surrounded by great people, still am, that help with that stuff. And, now we look at it today, dude, the way integrity's factored in and being we're managing partner of like a multi-billion-dollar company today. I'm like, stupid, dude. I was making 40 G's a year 10 years ago.
Oh, I freaking love it. Love it.
But I had a lot of people guide me in it. And once I understand something, dude, I'm quick to implement stuff and I'll take it and run with it. I'm a little slow to catch on. Honestly, I'm not the best there. But I'll figure stuff out. And if you give me an opening, I'm like, and
Yeah.
I'll take it and run with it. And
Yeah.
I feel like I did that really well here, you know, and then
So
it just became teaching others.
maybe highlight some of those things, right? So as you've obviously within a very short time frame, relatively, right? It maybe didn't always feel like that, right? But in a relatively short time frame, you've been able to build what some people never have, or it would take, you know, years and years and years, way long, double what it's taken you, right? What are maybe like those 2 to 3 components? And I know, so like you're big on delegation, which I love. Like you've got people that you just literally trust, and it's like, and this, and this, right? But then also, like, I know how you, like, what you believe when it comes to comp models, right? And how you're trying to help people really grow their, and you kind of touched on it where people don't want you to know how much maybe you could be, you know, type of thing. And so what could be like 2 to 3 things that you think have really been game changing? I know that's kind of going to be hard to narrow down, but like, what do you think could be 2 to 3 things that have really kind of helped taking you to that next level?
Yeah, I mean, for me, dude, you know, I had to learn how to delegate. My natural instinct is like, I can do it better myself. I can do it quicker myself. And I'm still, dude, some days I still have that. You know, I'm like, I go to send something to Amanda and I'm like, by the time I send it to her, I could just do it. You know, I'm weird like that, but I had trust issues. I had a hard time letting things go and going like, is it going to get, I still do. I'm not perfect, but I didn't let anything go for you. I didn't have my first staff, dude, till we had like 40 agents selling. Not 40 agents, just like 40, where people go, I got 40 agents. How many sell? 1. No, I had 40 selling before I had staff, you know, which is not the smart move, by the way. That is, I'm not recommending that. It was
you guys write that down?
Decision. Yeah, it was an awful decision on my part because I could have had 100 agents had I had staff with me, you know, earlier. So for me, you know, in our model, I think turnover is huge in this industry for sure.
Yes.
Right. No one's confused by that. And I always relate it like if my accounting job was paying me $200,000 a year, dude, I'd still be an accountant. And they had the money because they were making plenty. They just didn't give it to me. And the reality is, dude, and some people get butthurt when we talk about it, but whatever, dude, the industry, especially in our space, the IMO model, bro, there's a lot of like uplines and IMOs and whoever they are making more than the agent who sells.
Right.
That's crooked, dude. I'm not a fan of that at all.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, for me, I don't love that model. I'm glad we created what we did for that reason. And our thought is, you know, we can make the money selling because I can go sell as much life insurance. Now I don't have to today. No one's confused by that.
Yeah.
But when we were building, dude, I could go out and sell as much life insurance as I wanted. And we had more stick. If I go, dude, I'm selling and I'm going to teach you, Joe, how to sell. So you can take it. You want to build. We don't care if someone builds. Now no one's confused. We recruit.
Yeah.
We recruit everyone. No one's confused by it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. No different than Alabama recruits to play football there.
Right.
And that's okay. So we look at it very similar, and we want to make put as many people as we can in a position to where they can win on their own. And if you want to build. So for us,
let's pivot there because we got our first question here from Mr. Austin. When you first started expanding and recruiting, how did you go about finding the agents?
So I started recruiting day one because to me, I understood I was getting into a business. It's no different than I go open a pizza joint and I start hiring people day one, or I open an all-state joint and I start finding agents day one like that. Now, so I was commuting to my job, bro, my accounting job, calling Craigslist resumes. This is, again, back 2012. Dude.
Yeah. Austin, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. We'll give you different answers for today. I'm just answering the question.
Yeah.
At the time in 2012, I would run ads on Craigslist. That was the first way we did it. At the time, Craigslist was free, even. I know now some of it's paid. I don't even know if it still exists, to be honest.
Right.
But I would get resumes there. I'd run them all over the country. And, dude, I would just interview people on my commute to my job. I had an hour and a half commute to my accounting job. And so I would do that. And then certainly I did the warm market thing best I could. I wasn't amazing at it. And, you know, I wasn't amazing at any of it. But that's how it started. You know, just doing interviews, dude, cold market. And, you know, you can get that today anywhere. If I were today starting, it'd be social media for sure. You know, maybe doing TikToks, LinkedIn is a home run. That stuff's so cheap that you can find unlimited people today. Social media, dude, we all put everything out there. It's not hard to find anymore, you know? So I would do it very different today starting, but yeah, it just started with one agent, man, one at a time and making a lot of mistakes.
Craigslist resume. That's epic.
That's how it started, dude. That's how I applied. That's how I got in the business the first time.
Was it Craigslist?
I answered the Craigslist ad. I swear to God, dude. A mortgage protection Craigslist ad in 2008.
Wow.
And I was in mortgages right before that. So it caught my attention. And I'm like, oh, I know mortgages. It had nothing to do with mortgages, but
yeah, mortgage protection. Right. That's good. Well, and that's, I love that you said that too. And obviously anybody that's heard me talk, you guys know I talk a lot about, using social media as a business tool, right? And I talk about if it's not driving revenue and ultimately when you're using it to recruit and find people, that also is still going to drive you revenue, right? But I love that you said that too, because guys, when we're using it correctly, right, and not just freaking word vomiting on people or expressing your opinions all the time and getting all political or everybody all up in their freaking heads about like Elon Musk and Twitter. I'm like, yo, Elon's a baller. I don't care. Hey, whatever. You can unfriend me. I don't care. Hey, that dude's wild, man. He's playing on a different level. That's all I have to say about it though, because my Facebook is all insurance. Like I'm using it to like, and really it is one of social media in a whole is one of the most powerful, not only networking, but also recruiting tools as well. And even there was a guy that posted in the group, I believe Cedric, was his name, where he's posting within a Facebook group, right? And it's a dial day. Hey, come join me to do dials, right? In my mind, I'm like, okay, hey, and that's kind of, you've been to our agent hangout, right? Where you can almost kind of use social media to get them. And to me, it's always different when I'm talking to you in person, right? Obviously, it's a little bit different over Zoom. Zoom is now prevalent, but for me, it's like, we'll push them to an event, and in that event they can come do some dials with you, and they're like, yo, this guy is the real deal, man. I want to freaking work with him. Yeah. Then it's like, it's like what I do with my truckers. You don't even have to solicit them, right? They're reaching out to you because they want to work with you. So I think that's, definitely. And thanks for asking that question, Austin. Austin is actually, he's going to be in office with me next week in Atlanta with you guys. So it's going to be good. We're going to be doing some dial days, baby.
Yeah, we'll run through everything Monday. It'll be dope. But it's like, I think the thing people miss is like, there's one thing to recruiting, and that works, like the word vomit. People do that stuff, whatever. I'm more of like, let me add some value to people and build relationships and do it. Now, again, not that the other doesn't work. Because you can find some people that way. My style is, again, not that it's right or wrong. And today's very different than it was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. I can add a lot of value pretty easily today. So I just like to add value to people, dude, see where I can truly help people, just because I enjoy doing it. And sometimes it works out where it's like, dude, why are we not working together?
Right. So
that's certainly gotten easier. The recruiting, the building side, just like sales, man. Sales, dude, I was slow to learn that. And if anybody watching this is struggling, like if you keep trying to get better, like it's weird you get better. You know what I mean? And it actually gets a lot easier.
Oh, I freaking love it. Yeah, we're gonna call those Wetmoreisms, where it's like, it's like if you keep trying to get, better, you're gonna get better.
Imagine that. Yeah. Again, but you can use that with anything. I always use stupid examples, and I'm like, are you righty or lefty?
I'm ambidextrous. Like we're gonna mess it up, right? We'll say
perfect. You're perfect with both.
It's weird. I do I write like right-handed, but then I play certain sports left-handed, but I can play right-handed. It's super weird. But we'll say I'm a lefty.
You better say dribbling a basketball. You better righty or lefty.
Lefty.
Lefty. Yep. So I go. I can use it either way. But if Joe wants to learn right-handed and he's not as strong right-handed, how do you get better at it? Right. You do dribble more right-handed. It's not that complicated. And with time.
Yes,
you'll eventually get better. Mm-hmm. And I think people get so caught up in I'm not good today, so let me stop dribbling. But that makes no sense in any other world. You would never tell your kids that in a sport or, what I'm saying? Like, makes no sense.
Right.
So here I just understood that, man. And I just was willing to, I was okay not being good because I knew I was working on it and practicing and getting guidance and tweaking things along the way. And I knew with time, dude, like anything else I've ever experienced, you do it enough, you eventually get better at it, dude. And I didn't know to what level. I had no idea it turned into what it is today. Mm-hmm. But be honest, dude, I keep working on myself and I keep trying to get better at things. And I got better at people and better at explaining it and better at business and better at, articulating things and better at finding problems. And you just get better at this whole thing.
Right. Right. And I think, you touched on it too, like it gets easier, right? As you start to, especially on the recruiting side. But, I think part of that too is And we've gone through this with Redwood is again having that business mentality, right? And I think when when people are getting brought into, and Dave Williams and Brett Schickler, they're with Team Hired, Ricochet 3, they're doing all kinds of cool stuff. But they talk about their 3 C's, and one of those 3 C's, it's like compensation, but then the other one is career path, right? And I think it's easier for people to see a career path when they're being brought into like that system and y'all's infrastructure, right? And how all of that's set up. And it's like, dang, man, and you were touching on it. It's like I had all of that in place when I got it, right? And then you just get better. And I think also part of that getting better too is almost kind of like listening to what the recruits are saying, right? Like, especially I'm sure when you first started, and which, now granted, that's, one of my things too, is that's hard, right? When you think everything's great, but it's like, and then somebody doesn't like it, and it's like being able to take that back, and it's like, oh, you know what? But you were right, and you can make tweaks and stuff within the business. I think that's definitely a part of building as well, and I'm sure you probably felt that.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I had to teach people to do what I did. It's like when we had 40 agents, dude, I found a couple people that wanted to build some. I'm like, well, I can teach you how to get to 40.
Right.
If you're at 5, teach someone else how to get to 5. You know what I'm saying? And pay them really well so they don't go anywhere. And that's what we do really well, because if there is confusion, there shouldn't be, that the more volume you push towards carriers, the more they pay.
Yep.
So if you do people right, you'll have more volume because they won't go anywhere. And it'll be less of a rotating door. And for us, so that's what pushed our comp up. And certainly that eventually pushed the income and the revenue up. At the beginning, it was driven by my personal production.
Yeah.
But then with time, dude, then my goal was, let me teach some other people how to run a business, how to run an agency, get them to where they want to be. And then that's certainly in our infrastructure, that raises agent force and our whole entity.
Yep.
So today, dude, it is a lot easier because I have so much freaking help. There's so many great people in our agency now doing things and operating and recruiting and training and teaching. And, it gets silly easy. And that, dude, it's so fun now. We have so much fun.
Could you maybe go over a little bit of that? And I know, again, because you've got all of it in place, but maybe could you highlight like your divisions, or almost kind of like
structure, in a sense?
You say what?
Like structure wise?
Yeah, within the business, right? Like how, like obviously, Amanda's doing this, and you've got recruit, and like maybe those certain divisions.
You mean in the office, or like the agent?
Within agent force, we'll say.
I'll give you both. Give you both.
Cool.
So in my office early, I didn't build this with recruiters. I was the recruiter. I had 2 staff. I hired one where we had about 40 agents. That was in early 2017. I hired Amanda, who's still with me today, in like June or July of 2017. And then that second one left early 19. So she was with me for a couple of years, left. And then Amanda and I ran it from 19 till I only started hiring more staff like right when we signed with Integrity. Because I realized, what I did well, and I'll tell you what I did poor also. What I did well is I learned how to run it on a pretty slim staff, because we taught. So like, if you wanted to work with me, dude, and you want to build something, I'm going to teach you how to do what I do, which is sell a bunch of insurance and recruit like you recruit like I recruit. And I'll teach you how to recruit. And then Amanda would teach your staff how to do what she did for me. She'd teach your staff how to do it for you, to take things off your plate so you could sell more, recruit more, because that's how you make money here.
Yep.
So she would teach that, and we got really efficient at it. I'm a systems guy. We put processes in place, all the things we put in place, and we go, here's it all. Have it all. Yep. So you don't have to come up with it. And if you want to tweak it and do it your own way, I'll go tweak it, dude. I don't care. But here's what we have. And we gave everybody everything. And we duplicated that so many times over that enough people went like, hey, I want to build too. And so we were really looking for like a starting 5. So like 5 legs is what was ideal.
Yep.
But to get to that 5, dude, I had to hire like umpteens. We had to hire a lot.
Right.
And with time, enough people stood out, and it was like, hey, I want to build. And so I worked with them on infrastructure and things like that. Now, fast forward till more recently, those agencies, which we have 3 direct integrity partners in Agent Force today.
Wow.
And they run themselves, dude. They don't need, I'm here if you need me. But they don't, they're good. They know what they're doing. So now I'm going, all right, can we build outside of that again? Well, dude, now because I built it on smaller staff, I'm like, ooh, it's not the same because I'm not utilizing those groups anymore. Right. So now I got stuck Now, it ain't a bad spot to be stuck at, bro.
Yeah. Let's not be confused about that either, right?
But now I'm going like, outside of them, we got that volume, a couple thousand agents. Like outside of that, I want to do it again.
Yeah.
People are like, why? I'm like, dude, it's fun and I'm competitive and I want to help some other people win.
Mm-hmm.
So us getting it started, I've learned I can't do it in today's world at the pace I want to do it with one staff.
Yep.
I got stuck because I can't utilize some of the other groups the way they were helping me before because they're so busy doing their own thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now I'm like, I didn't see that coming. I thought it would go forever and I went, no, so now I'm having to go like, all right, we need to add some players. So now we got, today we got a recruiter. We have an open recruiter position. So I'm going to have two. I have a videographer and a graphics social person. So we got two there doing video graphics type stuff because today's world you have to.
Yep.
If you want to put stuff out there.
Yeah. So which you should be. Just saying.
Yeah. If you're not, you're missing out. Yep. So we got two. One travels with me. One kind of stays in the office and does whatever needs to be done, edits, cuts stuff up, puts it out, whatever.
Yep.
And then, of course, Amanda does what she does. And then we're hiring more of an operations person. Mm-hmm. And I'll have one more assistant. So we'll have like 6 staff.
Yeah.
Is our ideal spot today.
Yes.
But we're going to blow up outside of everything. I mean, that's our goal. Help, well, who we're helping.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's, and I think, it is funny too, because it's, for me, we've experienced this with Red. I feel like we've talked about this too. It's like, man, when you're breaking things, that means you're going, baby, right? Yeah. And it's okay to break things, and it's okay. But I love even your hand gestures. I talk about this a lot too. Is when a lot of agents get stuck, what do? Right? And for you pivoted, right? And even like the hand, you just got to pivot, right? And so I think that's so important because agents will really agencies, their people, whatever it is, like people will get defeated when you get stuck right there, right? And so really it's, okay, how are we going to really, it's kind of clear, like adapt and overcome, right? Like how are you going to get, hey, if I need to be better dribbling, if I need to shift over here, how am I going to get better to do that? And, and I think going back again to that social, guys, if you're not putting social media stuff out there, the relationships and the partnerships and everything, we have so many things cooking within Redwood, and it was literally because it really all did start from freaking Facebook, right? And then meeting Cody Askins and then getting in that room, and then all of that, you want, like, talking about a leg, right? It all just went to where literally then we met, right? And things like that, all from freaking social media when you're using it as a business tool, right? I think it's so freaking powerful. Man,
it's one of the biggest regrets I have, dude. I wish I had the come up out to the world. And we have some of it, dude. We have a few thousand subscribers on YouTube. I ain't Cody, but we got a few grand. We got like 8,000 on Instagram.
I have like 77 on my Redwood channel. So you're doing good.
Dude, I look back on it and it was me doing it on my phone a little bit, but I was not intentional, and you can't go find stuff of me when I was in the field selling and talking about clients and seeing pictures, and it doesn't exist. Or all the meetings, like y'all see me travel today, dude. Y'all have no idea how much we traveled building this thing,
right?
And there was only a handful of us at FFL that were doing it. So every event we all had to be at. Where today we're spread out, so we got so many of us. It's like I don't have to be at everything anymore,
right?
But that we just didn't think, dude. We didn't put any of that out there. And so one of the things I tell people today, man, because they always ask, like, what's some of your biggest regrets? Dude, I regret terribly that I didn't have this stuff out on social before to document and put it out there and encourage people. And because people are watching. I learned that, dude. People are watching. Everywhere I go today now, people are like, dude, I see your stuff. I'm like, what? It's cool.
Well, and I think, there's a lot of power in that testimony. It's like when you've got all of that, video testimonial, right, of you going out in the field and doing, and it's like, look, guys, if I can do it, you can do it, right? And having all of that recorded, I think, so I wanted to ask you this though. I meant to ask it earlier, but you got me because you were talking about traveling. So this is something I've personally dealt with too. And it's like, dude, I get freaking stressed when I travel because it's like, I want to be present at where I'm at. Right. But then I also know everything that's and that's probably some delegation issues. Right. But even that, we're bringing some new roles on, but, I wanted to ask you because you do travel a lot, right? And you are meeting with a lot of people and you're doing trainings, meetings. You also have everything going on with an agent force. How do you really, for the lack of a better term, I don't know if this is the best, but like, how do you kind of balance that, right?
You
Like,
say that word.
yeah, you're like, oh, he's going to ask me about balance.
You know how many people ask me about balance, bro?
Yeah, right. Said, I don't, man. I
Man.
just go.
Yeah, again, it's changed over the years. That's the actual answer. Early on, there certainly was more to balance, right? Because I had to sell. I was in the field. I was traveling. I was teaching. I needed the money. I did not have money then, like today. You know what I mean? Like, it's different when you're during that build stage. And I think, for us, we had such a vision, man, and there was so much adrenaline with it. We just did it, dude. We just made it happen, bro. It's like, I don't know, man. I got 5 kids.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the first time I traveled back to Boston with 3 or 4 of them. I don't even remember. And Steph was by myself. And Steph was like, what? How do you, and people in the airport think I'm crazy. I'm like, dude, they're just my kid. I don't know. You just get used to it. You just do it.
Just do it. Yep.
And if you're dealing with stuff at home or if someone's sick or this going on, kids, you just do it.
Yep.
There's not a lot of, it wasn't like we sat back and went, how do we balance all of this stuff? We never had that conversation.
Yep.
But we wanted something bigger so bad that we just weren't worried about balance, to be honest, dude. I sacrificed a ton of family time and kid time with Matt I just did. But today, dude, the reward, bro, it's bananas. Now I get to choose. I do travel still a lot, but I choose when to travel.
Right.
People book around my schedule today, which is dope for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, I can maneuver things in, I can make it work. Whereas before it was every day, all day. But it was easy to balance in a sense because I loved it. So I was on business-wise 24/7. I didn't turn off. I still barely turn off, dude. But I do take moments today. You know what I mean? We'll go like a little bit. I've learned.
Well, you guys were just on vacation and stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And it's not that I don't answer my phone and stuff, but I can pause it way better today than I used to. Yeah. But I think if you aren't at a spot where the money comes in either way, dude, you don't have any my opinion. Yeah. And you want something big. You don't want something big, dude. This ain't for you.
Right.
But you want something big and you don't have a machine yet, dude, you have no business talking about balance.
Yeah. And that's, and I think, guys, and you heard him say, and I have a lot of agents that, man, how do you, because I work a freaking bunch too, right? But what I love, and you didn't share it here, but I wanted to highlight to people, like, John has sacrificed that time and everything like that, but that's because him and Steph were on the same page, 100%. Right? And I think you got to have that conversation with your significant other, right? That, hey, look, this is why, like, not just, hey, screw everybody, man, I'm freaking going gung-ho in insurance, and I think it requires that, right? And so I just wanted to highlight that because I did, I respect a lot about that. Me and my wife have definitely had that conversation where it's like, look, like we trying to make this thing right, and I'd rather put it that time in now, but I love it too, right? And it's weird. Some people are like, dude, you're weird, dude. You love insurance way too much, and I'm like, well, it's what insurance allows me to do, right? And especially with even just within the industry, and I think we're very in sync with this. Is like, dude, there is nothing better than helping an agent and seeing them freaking rise to the top, man, or just, finally getting over that roadblock or that obstacle. And that maybe goes back to my coach when I was coaching high school, like lacrosse. And it's like when they finally do it, right. And they're like, coach, it worked. And I'm like, why do you think I was telling you, man? But I love that. It's like, what are you willing, and I'll ask this question to the group, guys, if you're watching this, like, what are you willing to sacrifice, right? To get where you really want to go. And then, I just think that there's a lot of power in that. So,
yeah, and it is important to be on the same page. Now, I'll be honest, dude. If there are spouses out there that fight it, that they don't allow this, that, or the other. They fight. Like, dude, Steph and I wouldn't have worked out real well if that were the case.
Right.
She came in to me being me. Now, I wasn't successful, but I was a dreamer day one. When I started doing things, so she allowed me to be me. We definitely had conversations though, mostly when I wanted to turn it up to a new level. Because I started out, and again, dude, I was doing, relative to the insurance industry, I was doing pretty well. I was making good money at the beginning relative to, but I wanted like F you, like I just, And so when I had to turn it up, because I didn't understand, I couldn't have this result with like a mediocre level effort. Then we had to sit down because I'm like, hey, babe, here's what I want to do. And here's what it's going to take. And we sat down and had that conversation. It was a short conversation because she was all in. Here's what I need from you. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's when we can schedule our time. Here's when I got to travel. Here's when I got to be away. And we put it up on the fridge. We talked to the kids about it, and everyone understood the play that was being run. You know, and then we kind of went our separate ways in a sense. She did her thing. I did my thing. If the house were on fire, I wouldn't know it. And if we were going bankrupt, she wouldn't know it. We just ran our lanes. And then we were going to meet back up here, which is with the time and money. And being able to make choices and, you know what I mean, having options. And
well, everything you just said there, I hope you guys heard that. Like, this is exactly how you build a freaking team too, right? I mean, we're talking personal here, but like everything he just said, like, you know, a big thing for me, it's always transparency, man. Like letting people in order to be on the same page, they got to know. Now, granted, I guess to a certain extent, depending on maybe the role of the person or the individual within your organization. But like for me, I'm pretty much, hey, like, here it is, man. Like, here is what is going on because we need to be in sync. We've got to be able, and we're putting the time in, right? And I love how you said running in their lanes. I think that's so important. People, and honestly, people sometimes don't understand their lane within an agency because the leader has not been transparent enough about what they actually need them to run in, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, some people don't
I've definitely seen that.
You know, and thankfully here, dude, they let me be me and be really good at what I'm good at. And everybody has strengths and weaknesses, you know? So like Killamet and I worked really closely together. Sean Mike, of course, was the CEO. You know what I mean? Like we all work closely and we all have very different strengths and we're very different people. Yeah. But we understood we couldn't do it without each other as a company and competing agencies within. You know what I mean? That's a problem with a lot of people. And we just all got together and we're like, dude, we just want to win. And the reality is, dude, people get so bent out of shape over my agent or this is my guy or my team. Dude, there's like 3 million licensed agents.
Right.
There's like 400 million people in the country. However many people are in the country. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And we're known for doing big numbers. No one's confused. Dude, we're doing this much of the industry number.
Right.
We did we're doing nothing.
Yep.
There's so much opportunity out there. And that's what I love about some of the events we do is like there's some people who aren't confused by that and have this, like an abundance mindset.
Right.
And some people don't, you know, we just know we can do so much more. And if for us, it was like, why are we competing? Let's just work together and grow this thing and share stuff. And we got really good at that, dude. It just, hey, each person that's strong at this piece, you do that, I'll do this. We share the right things. And that built us as a company as well. And we try to implement those same things within the agency. Because sometimes you'll get a manager or whatever who's different, wants to run his own thing, wants to be creative, good with tech, whatever it is. Yep. And some people want to hold them back. They don't want to let people shine. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, let them shine the light on them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You should. Yeah. And I definitely am not the best at much of anything in my agency. I just happened to start it and be here earlier. There's some killers in our group. I'm like, go talk to him. I don't know. Right. I tell you that. You ask me stuff. I'm like, bro, I don't know. Ask him.
Ask him. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I think, well, that's part of it too. The swallowing of the pride pill, right? I think that can definitely be hard where it's like, shoot, I don't know, man, he's freaking killing it, dude. Go. Like, I mean, it's like having to almost kind of take that step back off the pedestal, right? And I think some people, I think it's a little bit different in today's, but like, at least from what I've seen, especially in my captive space, man, it was like, it was almost kind of frowned upon, man. It's like, no, like you don't want to go behind their back type of thing. And it's like now, and really it's what this Facebook group is about. That's why I posted last night. I was like, this group is just really dope, man, because people are just freaking collaborating and networking and like, I'm seeing agents literally almost evolve within the group. And it's only been 13 months in existence, literally. And it's just really cool. Right. And I think that's what, and now granted, it's not all like that in the industry now, right? But we're trying to definitely, I know you're trying to change it. I'm definitely trying to change it where it's, hey, we're all freaking in this together, man. Like, and like you said, there are millions, right? In the industry itself is trillions. Like, y'all, let's go eat. Let's eat.
There's plenty of seats. There's plenty of tables. There's plenty of food. We can all eat, you know, It's just like, who's going to put in the work really? And for me, it's help as many people as I can and give it away, dude. You know me, I just give it away. It's like, here's how you do it.
That's good, man. That's good. Well, hey guys, I'll go ahead and just wrap up. Want to respect everybody's time. We do have, if you've got any type of Q&A, put it in there real quick. We're happy to kind of close out the call if you do have any questions, anything like that. So I'll leave it up for probably like another 30 seconds. And if I don't see anything come through, then we'll go ahead and wrap up. So if you've got that, I'm going to kind of close this out. But if you've got anything, please put it in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, definitely happy to circle back around and answer any of those questions, right? So I know some of y'all are catching this after the fact. So again, appreciate y'all. Appreciate what this group is all about. I appreciate our members and everybody just having each other's back, right, and trying to level up. So weekly, hey, it's Wednesday, baby, right? The week ain't over, right? And so let's go ahead. Let's keep winning, baby. John, thank you so much, my man, for hopping on. It was a pleasure. Just gold nuggets all the freaking time, man. So really appreciate it.
My dude. Appreciate
awesome, guys. All right, y'all.